Hello, Klaus here, and welcome back to yet another video. Not that long ago, I did a video about beating yourself up using Davinci Resolve, but I didn't run through how to do that inside of Fusion. So I thought I would do a quick follow-up video on that and how to beat yourself up using Fusion. So let's get right to that now.
Okay, so let's start by beating ourselves up in Fusion. So for this first attempt here, the way of doing it, the first thing here is I'm doing that with 3 clips. I have a clip with me hitting nothing, and I'm putting in a mark where I do believe I would hit somebody. And then I go to my second clip and I find a place in my second clip where I am reacting, and then I am going to fit that with my blue line here, and then I am just going to make my clip fit the clip where I am hitting. Just going to take off the sound, I don't need that. And then I'm just going to move my 2 clips a clip up, and here I actually do have a clean plate. And I'll take away the sound, and now I'm just going to highlight, or actually I can show what I have here. So again, a clean plate, me hitting nothing and me reacting to nothing. So I'm going to highlight my clips. I am going to do a new Fusion clip, and that's pretty much what I'm going to do. And then I'll just go into Fusion. And here we have Fusion setting up everything like Fusion thinks it should be, but we'll change that in a sec because the order is not right. Not to worry, we'll check that out in a sec. So first off, let's do something which is going to help you a lot using Fusion, is to name your clip. So again, I'm on the Davinci Resolve editor keyboard, function F2. If you're not on that, it's just F2 to rename your clip. And in this case, I'm going to call this clean plate. I'll go to the second one, which is me hitting, I think. And then again, of course, I'll just push function. And again, let's call this beat, me beating somebody. And then, of course, the last one, again, function F2 or F2. And then let's call this thing hit. And okay. So first off, we're going to decompose all of this thing here, and let's rearrange our stuff. So first off, I'm going to hit the clean plate, and I'm going to connect that to the media out, because that's absolutely what we want. I'm going to add in a merge node, and I'm going to take the one called beat. I'm going to add that in as a foreground, and now we have that thing here. And then I'm just going to add in a polygon tool. And again, I'm going to connect that, and now you'll see that I'll disappear. So I'm just going to remove that so you until I have drawn the shape I want. Okay, so I'm just going to start out by just doing something super simple, and then I might correct it later. So I'm just going to do a shape like something like that. Okay, and then I'm going to attach that to the polygon tool, and now my this stand I had disappeared. And then we're going to do a little bit of a correction with my hand here, because I will need that not to disappear. So first off, we're just going to do something very rough with this, because I do know that I'm going to or have to animate this a little bit later again. So just something super quickly. Yeah. I think something like that would be just fine. Okay. And then we're trying to do like a basic animation here of what is going on. Again, there should be some corrections coming up when we do enter the next. And then I'm just going to add in a merge node, merge to node, and I'm going to make that as a foreground, and I'm going to do that as my foreground. And now I have that, and of course this has to be before the guy hitting because of the mask. And now we see we had some problems with my mask, so we're just going to make that look a little bit better by going into the polygon of the beat, and then I'm just going to quickly adjust that. So the important thing is to keep my face and not make it look too ugly. So let's just go forward here. You can use the arrow keys to do so, and we can then correct our mask here. Just move it along every time so my nose will not disappear. And here we are going to make it as close as possible to the hand, so we're not going to cut too much out. And here it's just fine. So that's if we go back to the editing tab, you can see the clip right here. And you put in some sound effects and that will work out just fine. Okay, so for the second method here, we are going to use a green screen clip, like I did in the old video. And then first off, we're just going to use the blade tool to cut out the parts we want. So first off, let's take this part. You can just use Control B or just push B and then go in and do your edit. And again, we are going to find a shot where my reaction is fun. I think this one is good. And I'm going to delete that thing. And then again, I am going to find the spot where I believe that the hit should be. And then I'm just going to find the reaction. And a super fast way of doing this is actually to go to find the reaction where it should be. Then just cut that so it fits that space, and then go and align it with the mark I did and just make it fit with the clip. So again, right click and then just do a new Fusion composition, and then let's just go into Fusion. And yet again, Fusion has done something, but of course Fusion don't know what I want to do. So again, I will mess things up in a bit. So first off, I'm going to again rename my things. Again, on my keyboard, it's function F2 or F2 on a regular keyboard. And I'm just going to quickly rename the things to beat and hit. Like so, and that's okay. And then I'm just going to disassemble everything Fusion did to make things easy for me, because Fusion didn't know what I wanted. So I'm going to take the hit and the beat, and of course I have those two here, and also I'll keep the merge node, and then I'll go into the media pool up here. Whoops. And then I have a photo. I'm just going to drag that in, and I'm going to take that photo and I'm going to put that to the media out. And as you see, the photo doesn't fit my screen. It's a way different resolution. So the way I could fix that is, of course, to go into Control Spacebar, and then I'm just going to find my resize. And then I'm just going to add in my resize, and I'm going to push the Shift and hold it and release. So now it will fit to my timeline size. Easy thing to do. So let's start by doing what we actually need to do is we're going to take away our green screen. Or actually, let's start off by doing some color actually. So you can do the color, of course, inside of Fusion. I would recommend you that you do it before you do the Fusion thing, and you do it in the color tab, because it's I find that to be more accurate. But let's just do it inside of Fusion, shall we? So first up, we can go into the levels and we can mess around with those if we want to. But that's not exactly what I want. Maybe I'll push it down a bit. We'll go back to the colors and we're just going to play around with the contrast, a little with the gain, and the lift I'm going to push that down as well, and the gamma a little bit, and the brightness I might do a little with that, and then I'm just going to the saturation. I'm just going to give it a lot of saturation. Maybe play around with the hue a bit, not necessarily, but, and then I'm going to push it towards a little more greenish, yellowish color. Again, this would be way better to do in the color tab, but anyway. So now I'm just going to type in delta, and that is the delta key to do our green screen work with. Okay, and I'll take this merge that Fusion left me. I'm going to put that into the timeline, and I'm going to put in the delta as a foreground. So that is the beginning of it. So into the delta key here, I am going to select that, and then we can push the inspector and choose our background color by pushing here and selecting, but I find that the color picker is easier, so I can then try to find the color I want to remove from this little thing. And then I'll go to the third window, and in the threshold I can then try to clean up my mask, try to make that look a little bit better. It's not a super great green screen, by the way, but for the tutorial it's just fine. And again, you could do a better job than this, but let's just think that's okay. And then I am just going to make sure that this is my foreground. And then I need to take off all of this crap I don't want. So I'm going to take a polygon tool, and I'm just going to mask out what I don't want. So first off, I'm just going to make a mask. And let's see if we can, something like that. And again, you could of course make it way better than this, but this is just for the sake of the tutorial. And then I'm going to drag this into the delta as a garbage mat. In the polygon, I'm going to invert that. Okay, and then I'm just going to go up and see my media out, so I know what I'm doing. And then I can see that there's some slight issues with the mask I did. So I'll go into my delta gear, and I'll go into my threshold again, and then I can just push that until my mask disappears, and that should be pretty good. Something like that. And here I am getting hit by nobody, which is a bit sad. Again, and then I might want to do a bit of correction again, choosing the color corrector. So I'll try to make myself blend in a little bit with the photo, but not too much. Let's play around with the lift here and the brightness. And then again, of course, let's go back to the delta, and then in the threshold, I am going to boost that quite a bit. And let's see if we can, something like that. So that is at least what we're happy with this for now. So let's go here, and then we have our second thing. And first off, I'm just going to drag down a merge node. And the good thing about Fusion is, at least we can now copy paste the polygon, the delta keyer, and the color corrector by pushing Control C and Control V and adding those in. And I'm just going to add in my beat node here, and then I am just going to take my delta keyer and add that in as a foreground. And now I am here again, and then I'm just going to go to the polygon, and I'm just going to enlarge that a little bit, like so, and we're going to find the place where I do hit myself. And then, of course, I can use the merge node for the first. And then I can just move myself a little bit back. And of course, we see that there's slightly a problem here. Of course, again, using Fusion, that is pretty easy to change. First off, I am going to move me as a person here, but that's not the real issue. So the real issue is actually that I put my the versions of me the wrong place. But again, using Fusion, it's pretty easy, as you see, to correct that and just change things around pretty fast, going into the merge of the beat node now. And I'm just going to put myself here, and then I am going to the polygon, and I'm just going to make my hand fit there. And then, of course, I'll go to the second merge node, and I'll just correct the position. And really, we don't need to do too much because you can't see that. There we are. And whoop, come on. There we are. So here we have the shot. Yeah, pretty neat. But of course, one thing is nagging me a bit. So I'm just going to push Control Spacebar, and I'm going to type in blur, and I am just going to add in a blur. And I'm going to add in the blur on the background after the resizing. And I'm going into the inspector, and I'm just going to change the blur a bit. And for me, that makes this look a little bit better. So there you have it. The shot of me beating myself. And then, of course, you could just add in some blanking. And voila. There we go. So, of course, since we have the output blanking, we might as well use that for something, because now we have a little space in the top of the bottom. And I'm going to select the clip. I'm just going to go into the transform options, and then I'm just going to move that a little bit down, putting in a keyframe, and then going to the end of the clip, and then making a pan move, like so. And, you know, if you add in some sound effects, it's not too bad. Anyway, I do hope you found this video useful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, share it with your friends if you think it will help them out, and if you want to be notified every time there's a new video on the channel, please hit that bell icon down in the corner. Until next time, keep filming, keep learning, and keep sharing.